Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to talk about AI ethics, specifically where AI should even be used. In this particular instance, I'm going to be talking about a piece of software called Interview Coder. Interview Coder, and its main purpose is to effectively allow programmers to cheat on their interview tests. I have some thoughts, so we're going to go ahead and cover it in today's video. Let's get right into it. Okay, so we're going to start off with this article by Gizmodo. A student used AI to beat Amazon's brutal technical interview. He got an offer, and someone tattled to his university. So a guy named Roy Lee built an AI system that bypasses the big tech companies' brutal technical interviews, and he also says that the work of most programmers will be obsolete in 2 years. I have some thoughts. I definitely have some opinions right off the bat. I will cover them later in today's video, but first we're going to go ahead and read through the article, see what this whole thing's about, and then I'm going to cover what I think. So, a Columbia University student is facing a disciplinary hearing at the college after he used an AI program to help him land internships at Amazon, Meta, and TikTok. So this guy named Roy Lee, the student facing down Columbia, told this Gizmodo reporter that he won't be on campus when the hearing happens. He just plans to drop out and leave, and that the program that he built to dupe big tech is proof that the jobs they're offering are obsolete. I disagree, namely for a reason that, again, I will cover later in today's video. But the short answer as to why I disagree is that AI just isn't fully good enough yet. It's more of an aid to help you with programming, but in my opinion, if you're doing advanced things, which is what like the big tech companies would be doing, you need to have at least some general knowledge of how programming works in the first place. So having an AI do all the work for you isn't it the jobs aren't obsolete. AI is more of an aid for the more advanced programming than it is a complete an entire replacement, in my opinion. But anyways, let's continue. Landing a job for big tech companies is a nightmare. Colloquially known as FANG, or Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, the companies put potential software engineers through a battery of interviews. The most hated part of the process is the technical interview. During a technical interview, programmers will solve exoteric coding problems. Basically, they will put these programmers in front of the most difficult to comprehend things out there and ask them to solve it. Basically, if you're trying to get a position at those companies, they expect you to know your stuff, and I don't necessarily blame them. So they're going to put you through a battery of tests, and often they will have you do it live on camera while an employee from the company will watch you do it. Now, Lee is a sophomore at Columbia. He graduated in 2026 if he would have stuck around, but he's leaving. And he even planned to get a degree from the college and use it to get a job in big tech. Training for the technical interview killed his passion for the job. He said, quote, "It was one of the most miserable experiences I've ever had while programming," he told the reporter. I felt like I had to do it. It's something that I needed to do for a big tech job, and it just felt like there's too much to learn, so much to memorize, and too many random problems I could expect to have thrown at me. So what he did as a result was build a piece of software to cheat on the interview called Interview Coder. Now, the way it works is that how a lot of these remote interviews are set up is that they'll have the interviewee go on a piece of software like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, turn on their webcam, and then share their screen to the interviewer. Now, sharing your screen means the person, namely the interviewer, will be able to see what's on your screen, see what you're doing. But this piece of software is able to be invisible on the screen share, so it looks like so it looks to the interviewer like there's nothing wrong, but to the interviewee they can see AI suggestions and stuff easily, and be able to put in the AI answers and all that stuff, which, well, in effect is kind of cheating. It is kind of cheating, admittedly. Now, the rationale behind this, as far as I can tell from the guy, is it's a majority of the problems you get with these interviews are over complex, dumb, and just it's too much work, essentially, I guess, is sort of the overall thing. And he's also kind of making a point of, oh, well, AI is going to effectively be somewhat is effectively going to replace these jobs anyways. I have some disagreements with this. So I can see where he's coming from in terms of the whole prospect of the interview questions are hard. Yes, a lot of the like technical interview problems do tend to be extremely difficult. I can kind of see where he's coming from. Some of them aren't things that you would typically encounter or encounter at all in most positions. So I can I can see where he's coming from. I do think some of these companies need to take it a step down in like specific programmer positions, because some of the LeetCode questions, LeetCode is typically the interview platform used, but a lot of the questions you'd get on platforms like LeetCode or whatever other programming interview platform they're using, the type of questions you'd get can sometimes just be outright ridiculous and not something you'd ever encounter on the job. So I can understand his point there, but is cheating really the solution? I don't think so. I wouldn't say so. I think I wouldn't necessarily say it's particularly ethical um to do that. In my opinion, I wouldn't. Um but that's just me. Obviously, some people have different opinions. My opinion is no, I don't necessarily think it's ethical, nor do I think AI is particularly a replacement for programming. I would say it is a very good companion, and if you're doing smaller scale things, like if you're building a website in PHP, for the most part, it's actually pretty good for that. You don't have to have much programming knowledge if you're only using it to build like a website or something. But if you're doing more advanced applications and stuff, I wouldn't say AI as of right now is an outright replacement for programming, more so or programmers, I should say, but more so a really well designed aid to go alongside programmers for more high end, more intricate projects, right? For simple things, AI can just do it on its own, but in my opinion and from my experience as well, for much more intricate projects, AI is more of an aid than it is a tool that will do it all for you. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Now, if you're wondering at all, the platform that I mentioned, this interview coder platform, it doesn't necessarily work everywhere. For example, on Mac OS, the whole undetectability shtick doesn't fully work, at least on some versions. It doesn't. It also doesn't support all versions of like Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever. So keep that in mind if for some reason you do decide to use this. And furthermore, it also costs $60 a month. It's not free. So again, things to keep in mind. Um, but yeah, no, I thought this was interesting, especially because it's just it's a really good ethical question. Is this even a responsible thing to use with AI for, especially in scenarios where it's like more high-end technical programming jobs, like like is this ethical to use in like scenarios where maybe you're programming something for like the US military or like Lockheed Martin, or like maybe like you're programming the firmware for like an ambulance or something? Like these are all things you have to keep in mind here. Computers, whether you like it or not, are very ingrained in our lives and in some cases are the determining factor as to whether or not you will live. So when you make it easy to cheat on interview questions, it I don't know. It raises some ethical questions, especially in environments where you are programming things that will literally make life and death decisions, because there are some programming positions where you will be doing that. So, I don't know. I personally don't agree with this. I don't think it's right, but that's just me. If you want to leave your opinion in the comments down below, I would suggest that you go ahead and do that. I would like to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Take care, you guys, and stay safe out there.